Hello and welcome to Align on Time podcast. I'm your host, Chelsea Scroggins, and today I want to talk about keeping it simple. We overcomplicate a lot of things in our life. We think, we have to have all our ducks in a row before we can do the thing. And I want to remind you to shoot your shot and do the thing and keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate things. When you overcomplicate things, you are really putting a pause to your dream, to your reality. You are making a hard obstacle for yourself that doesn't need to be hard at all. You don't have to be as fancy as you think you have to be to do the thing that you've always dreamt of doing. For instance, you want to start a podcast, but you think that you have to have a fancy phone, a fancy camera, a great mic, all these fantastic lights. But in reality, all you really need is the phone that you have, the mic that's probably even on the phone. Maybe you can get a better mic, but it doesn't have to be some fancy $500 mic or plus. You can get a simple light from Home Depot. It doesn't have to be the expensive ring light that you think you need. You don't even need that. You can go into a bright room that has better lighting. You can sit by a window and use the light from outside, the sunshine. Stop allowing the complications to what you think you need prevent you from doing what your heart is telling you to do. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. And no matter what they might think of your setup, what they might think that you are doing and it's not correct, or what they might think about your equipment, it doesn't matter what they think about you. What matters is that you are doing the thing and not overcomplicating it and keeping it simple and listening to your heart and going for it. And this is more than just podcasts. This is as simple as I want to get a better job, but I have to have this fancy resume. Well, guess what? Maybe you just go in and you say, hey, do you have a paper application? Let me fill the application out. My name is Chelsea. Here you go. That might be all you need to do is just meet the right person, fill their application out and send it. You might not even need a resume or a fancy cover letter, right? You think you need all these things to get to where you need to go, but in reality, you just need to take the action to get there. Keep it simple. And if you take the action and you get turned down, or they're like, hey, you do need a resume, well, now you know your next steps of what you need to do. Because sometimes we think we need this and that and the other. And then once we take the action, we really figure out that we actually need something completely different than what we thought. But had we not taken the action, had we not went for the thing, how would we know really what we need to bring to the table, what our next steps would be? So keep it simple and take the action. Now, I know it sounds way more easier, me just saying it, take the action, make the phone call, ask that person out, apply for the job. It seems scary, it's not that easy, but it really is. The hard part is you get in your head and you think, well, what if they don't like me? What if they tell me no, I can't handle rejection? What if I don't have the qualifications? What if nobody likes my podcast? What if you get in your head and you start overwhelming yourselves with the what ifs, could have, should haves, why nots, and then you just stomp all over your dreams, all over the things that your heart is telling you to do. But I want to ask you a question. What if it's better than you ever imagined it could be? What if the action that you take and keeping it simple makes you feel free, loved, abundant, inside and in your entire life? What if that happened for you? Just imagine. So the next time you think about taking an action and you want to let your fears of the what ifs, could have, should have stop you, I want you to turn those fears into faith and ask the question, what if this propels me further in life than I ever expected? What if this is the job that's perfect for me? What if my podcast becomes #1 podcast? What if I meet the love of my life? What if fill in the blank with a positive question, with a positive action? And see if that doesn't make you take the action that you needed to take. Keep it simple and stop overcomplicating things. What if Chelsea was right and I do this? And I also want to remind you that a no is not the end of the world. It's not the end or be all. Some no's get you to where that final yes really needed to be. So just because someone says no to you doesn't mean they're never going to work with you. Doesn't mean they don't like you. It means that right now is not the time or the space for whatever it is you're trying to create with that person or with that job. And later on in life, you'll look back and you'll realize why you got the no, why you needed to learn the lesson, why you needed to, hold off a little bit longer. One thing I will say is at the end of your life, when you are sitting on your deathbed or when that sudden thing happens and your whole life is flashing before your eyes, the only thing that you should regret is not starting sooner, not taking the action sooner. You should never regret not taking the action at all, or that you could have done this, but you didn't. I think that right there would be a living hell, would be just a worse thing than taking the action and hearing a no. You'll never know how far you can go unless you actually go. So the whole moral of this podcast today is to remind you to keep it simple and do the thing that is on your heart that you were born to do. You got this. Until next time, keep it simple. You got this. Ciao.